Fiction, getting the idea. Fiction refers to the stories that are made up. Although the stories may be based on true events, the authors have added elements from their imagination. There are many types of fiction. All right, we have a little chart here that's going to go over the different types. You can see the types of fiction is also known as the subgenre. And then on the right side here, it's going to explain what it's like. So contemporary fiction or realistic fiction takes place in the present day. Historical fiction takes place in the past, may involve real people or events. Science fiction is about science and technology of the future, may be set on Earth, on a different planet, or in an imaginary place. A fable is a story that has a moral or a lesson, and a myth is a traditional story from a certain place. It may give different reasons for how something in nature came to be. A fable and a myth are both under the subgenre of folklore. Every piece of fiction has the following events or parts: characters, setting, plot, theme, and point of view. Characters are people, objects, or animals who participate in a story. Characters have traits and motivations. Traits are a character's qualities, or what he or she is like. Authors reveal a character's traits through description and a character's actions, words, and interactions with others. This is also known as indirect characterization. Motivations are a character's goal or what he or she wants. They explain why a character acts or thinks the way he or she does. Let's read the following passage. When Mara heard a knock at the door, she slid an envelope off her desk and hid it in a drawer. When Mr. Tomoko entered, the first thing he said was, "Did I get a letter?" Mara said, "No." The passage suggests that Mara is motivated to keep Mr. Tomoko from finding something out. This motivation is revealed by her actions, hiding the letter and lying about it. In this situation, the traits she shows are secretiveness and dishonesty. So these are examples of characters' traits for Mara. Characters often change over the course of a story. The events and the actions and words of the other characters may influence how a character acts, views of the world, or views himself or herself, or views other characters. Characters who change are called dynamic characters. Characters who don't change are called static characters. A character's actions and feelings throughout a story reveal whether or not he or she has changed. The way a character changes may also reveal the theme or lesson. Setting. The setting is the place where a story unfolds and the time, past, present, or future, when the action takes place. A story may have several settings and move from one place to another, or even move backward and forward in time. Descriptive details and the way the characters look and behave reveal the setting. A story's setting can influence the characters and theme. Plot. The plot is the sequence of events that make up the action of the story. It consists of the exposition, rising action, climax, falling action, and resolution. The conflict or problem a character or characters must solve is usually introduced early in the plot. As the story unfolds, the characters' actions can make the conflict more complicated. Characters can also introduce new conflicts as they respond to each other and react to events. The way characters respond to the conflict and work to resolve it usually hints at the theme of the story. So remember, the conflict can be person versus different things. So supernatural, nature, society, person, technology, or self. Authors organize their stories to advance the plot and to keep the reader interested. For example, each chapter of a novel can be an episode of the story. Each episode may contain several events which lead to future events in the story. An author may use a chapter, scene, or even a sentence to add suspense, or excitement or tension that makes the reader want to know more. The authors include flashbacks or information about past events. Flashbacks can create suspense, reveal character motivations, or hint at the theme. Read the following paragraph. Omar could see the car behind him. It had been chasing him for miles now. It was getting closer and closer. At the next intersection, Omar purposely missed the turn for his street and kept driving straight. The police station was only 2 blocks away. If he could get there in time, he would be safe. How do the events affect Omar's motivations, decisions, and actions? Summarizing the plot of a story can help you keep track of the story's events. When you summarize a story, you tell the central idea and the most important events from the plot, but you leave out the little details. A plot summary is not a review, but a statement of facts. You should not include your opinions or judgments in the story. I'm going to highlight that. No opinions or judgments in the story. Part of your summary. Dialogue. Most stories feature dialogue or a conversation between characters. Authors often use dialogue to reveal character motivations and traits. The dialogue between characters shows how they respond to one another and might hint at how they feel about one another. Dialogue advances the plot and can influence events or motivations. Not all stories have dialogue. For example, a fictional story that is organized, like a memoir, set of letters, or journal, may not feature dialogue. The central idea, the theme is the central idea is what the story is mainly about. The theme of a story is the message about life, human nature, or society that the author wants the reader to understand. Usually, readers have to figure it out using evidence from the story. Paying attention to how characters change, what motivates them, how they interact, and how they resolve the conflict can help you figure out the theme. So here's some example of dialogue. It's a perfect day, it's sunny and warm, and best of all, there's no school. Ada runs to Leo's room and says, "It's awesome out. Let's go out to the skate park." Leo sits up and says, "Mom said we can only go out if we're together, and the only place I want to go is the art museum. So what's it going to be?" Ada stalks to her room and slams the door. "I'd rather sit and do nothing than go to the art museum." The reader can use details to determine the theme. When 2 people refuse to compromise, nobody wins. Point of view. In literature, point of view refers to the way the story is told. The narrator is the voice that presents the characters, dialogue, plot, and setting to the reader and may comment on what is happening in the story. We have this little chart here going over the point of view. First person. The narrator is a character in the story, uses first person pronouns, I, we, our, tells the story from his or her perspective. The reader knows only what the narrator knows. Third person omniscient. The narrator is outside the story, knows everything about all the characters and events, and uses third person pronouns like he, she, and they. Third person limited. The narrator is outside the story, knows only one character's thoughts and feelings, and uses third person pronouns like he, she, or they. So remember, limited is one person, omniscient is all knowing or all characters and events. All right.